It's associated with some of the happiest times of our lives. Depending on the holiday, it can be found in our Christmas stockings, our Easter baskets, our heart-shaped boxes, and our trick-or-treat bags. We give it to the ones we love on our anniversaries and birthdays. We end our meals with it. And sometimes we have it for no reason at all. It can be in a cookie, a brownie, a pudding, cake, or kiss, a sauce, a smear, a bar that brings us bliss. It's so beloved around the world that sales last year were more than $133 billion. But for all the joy and money it brings, the story has a dark side. It's a story of human trafficking, child labor, and modern-day slavery. A story of poverty, inequality, and power. But there is a company who for the last 20 years has been trying to change the industry from the inside out, all while selling some really tasty treats. And that's why this week's On Brand is on Tony's Chocolonely.
We're all jazzed up, really having a cow. You want your favorite show and it's on right now. It's on Brand.
Welcome to On Brand with Jon and Marisa.
Hey, I'm Jon.
Hey, I'm Marisa. Okay. Tony's Chocolonely?
Yes.
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 Huge fan.
Are you?
Yum,
I have never heard you. I know
yum.
you're a chocolate gal.
Yes.
But I've never heard you mention this brand.
It's a bit out of my price range.
It's been on my list to do for a while. And
Really?
like 3 weeks ago, I was at the store and it was on sale.
Oh, which store?
Vons.
Oh, okay.
Big bar, $3.99. I was like, okay.
Wow.
I can do that.
Where I'll sometimes treat myself is if I'm at a Cost Plus World Market and maybe I'm doing a lot of shopping for other people and I say, where's Mama's fun?
Where is Mama's fun?
And I'll get myself a bar.
We got David some olive oil. We got the kids
We got
like
Al some Marmite.
I got nothing because
No,
you
you got
get...
like, if it's Cost Plus World Market, you got a little elephant with like an Indian tapestry on its back.
And a gift receipt, I hope.
Yes. Wait, do you still go and like play that game at Cost Plus World Market? Remember you go in when they open and you like look for a treasure?
That's not all year. It's like for a few weeks.
But
they now do it for Easter. It's hard.
Every day.
No, I don't play that, but I do think it's fun. I love Cost Plus. And Cost Plus is also, little tip, if you're in the rewards thing, which is free, they always have some, like, if you order online for in-store pickup, they always are giving you, like, 10 or 20% off just for doing that.
Wow.
And then they're always texting me, like, today I got a coupon, 25% off everything. A lot of the time that excludes food. Be sure to read the fine print.
Of course, always read the fine print. I don't want to be texted by any business.
I know.
Somehow we've given them all access. So I'll look at my text messages. It's like my mom, Jon, David, Cost Plus World Market. It's like you got invited into my inner circle and I did not approve that.
I know. And some of them, I only let them in for a minute. Like I keep forgetting I have to delete Pop Mart because I let Pop Mart in while I was writing it.
You got to write back. Stop.
They text me so much. And then I'm currently in Urban Outfitters because next week they're dropping a Pride collection of albums. And there's one that I want and I need to know when that drops. And then I'm going to, because they're writing me 2 or 3 times a day.
Unbelievable.
They're like, don't forget your jeans.
It's so egregious that the frequency that we have been trained to tolerate and how many I'll tolerate before I write back stop. It's like it must have been studied by like behavioral scientists. Like how much can you abuse somebody before they finally say no more?
How much can we push them? And there's been times where I've gone to like unsubscribe.
Yeah.
This is emails, and they'll give me, I don't feel like they do it as much anymore, but they used to give you a list. They're like, wait, why are you leaving? They're like, are you getting too many emails? What if we just gave you one a week? What about one a month?
Exactly.
Could you handle 7 a year? It's like, they're like bargaining with me. Like, how much are you willing to be annoyed? Exactly. I'm like, I'll do 1 a year. If you can 1 a year, tell me what's up.
How about 20% off or more? Don't come at me with just like these picks for Father's Day. I'm not interested. Coupons only.
And good coupons. Because I got a Jersey Mike's coupon today. Here's the coupons I'm sick of. When they just want to give you another thing that you're already buying. The coupon for Jersey Mike's today was if I buy 2 giant subs, I can get a 3rd giant sub For $4, not even for free. If I'm willing to spend $59.
Gosh, those are expensive though. A giant for $4.
I have to buy 2 at full price.
Okay, so
I'm
you,
one man.
me, the kids, Al. I feel like we could figure it out.
Here's what I'm saying. I buy one normal large sub, 2 meals.
That's true.
How many meals is 3 giants for me? I'm going to be...
Show up to a birthday party with 3 giant subs.
Now I'm buying it just to take it somewhere.
And 2 giant subs is like $45.
Yeah, I know. And then I have to get them plain because then that's the only way I can save them. Sure. So then I have to go buy lettuce on the side.
Condiment later.
I have to ask for a bunch of oil and vinegar to go. I have to find a similar pickle. It's too much work. This is why
you're tired.
And McDonald's, I was bitching about this on our Patreon. If you haven't, on our Discord, if you want to talk to us about things like this, please join our Patreon. You can be on our Discord. Right. But McDonald's coupons have gotten so insane. They'll be like, if you buy fries and chicken nuggets, we'll give you 40% off the chicken nuggets. It's not like
crazy.
It's not like buy this. It's just
throw in a free ice cream or something.
Anything. Make it easy. I don't want to be doing math. Okay, so I'll be done with this now. At all these places, well, not Jersey Mike's, I don't think, but like McDonald's is a franchise restaurant.
Yeah.
Fries at one restaurant, $4. Fries at the McDonald's down the street, $7. So you don't even know.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Okay, so something embarrassing happened to me this week.
What?
Should I share that?
Yeah.
Or should I we have 2 paths we can go. This is a choose your own adventure.
Wouldn't that be fun if we got to a point where like people could like push a button if they wanted to hear this story versus another story?
We get like zapped on our show. Okay, so they want to go down the right path.
Okay, sure.
So I either have a conversational sentence to start off a conversation or an embarrassing story.
Embarrassing story.
How did I know? All right, so some people in my life already know this, but like years and years ago, I used to sleep on a futon. Or I think, I don't even know if it was, it was a legit futon, and then I think it was like a mattress on the floor, and I have finally graduated to a bed.
Okay.
But when I was on
Are you pulling it out, putting it away every night?
No.
I think I should have known the answer to that.
I'm turning my bedroom into like a seating area for 8 hours a day. No, that was before I even made my bed.
The labor of moving the stuffed animals alone would take hours.
This was pre-stuffed animals.
Okay.
There was a short time though where I went through a mosquito net phase.
Oh, didn't we all, honey?
I think
Pier 1,
IKEA,
or World Market. To be honest,
to be honest,
a papusan chair and a mosquito net, honey. Were we ever more bohemian?
I remember getting in it and draping it around the bed. I was like, unsafe for the evening.
It's quite romantic. It's very Romeo and Juliet. It's very like, romantic.
Yeah. So picture that. I'm on a futon surrounded by mosquito netting. And as we know,
Skeeter's desperate to get in.
Skeeter's like, God, he's got some. This was back when I was drinking regular Coke, so they're definitely wanting to prick me.
That was some sweet.
They're trying to get some of that sweet juice. And remember, I do, on occasion, sleep in jeans. Now...
Did you last night?
No, but I have recently, multiple times.
Oh, okay.
And that plays into
It's
the
so
story.
hot, you're going to have to start sleeping in jorts.
I will definitely have to look up jorts and get a pair of jorts. So anyway, I would sleep in jeans. I didn't always empty out my pockets.
Okay.
When I would sleep in my jeans. So long story short, let's say I wake up in the morning, I decide to take a shower. I'd get undressed, I'd get in the shower, I'd be like halfway through the shower, and I'd hear tink, tink.
What is that?
That would be a coin that had fallen out of my pants, stuck to my back, and fallen onto the shower floor.
How many times did that happen? Like 1 to 3?
Enough where I remember talking to some friends and saying, oh, another penny fell off my back in the shower today. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, wait, that's never happened to you? I was like, sometimes when I fall asleep, a bunch of change will end up in my bed and it sticks to my skin. And then when I'm in the shower...
Which also, you're wearing a shirt.
Yeah, but
so
it rides up.
It's wriggling around. That penny's going on a journey.
It is. It thought it was just going to be... It's like, now I'm ready to like rest in a cash register. And it's like, honey, you're sticking to my back and you're going to go in the shower. So anyway, so this happened. And then I told my friends and then it became something they made fun of me for years and years and years. A common thread in my life, something that you would do. Okay, so then I grow up. I get a bed. I don't think, it's probably just that I don't normally have that much change. We don't have as much change anymore.
Cash
so
is no longer
this
change.
hasn't happened in a very long time.
Okay.
Now, I will say, not because I sleep in jeans, but sometimes things do up in my bed. Be it a
like what?
Like a tissue or
you
like
do always have a wadded up tissue on your person.
I have one probably in my pocket.
Sure,
I've always got wadded up tissues.
And you like to leave it as a little calling card everywhere you go.
And I like to throw it at people and then they catch it and they get so grossed out.
Yeah,
it's just water usually.
Disgusting.
I just dried my hands with it. So this week I had an appointment. I went to it. And I had to park across the street from it. And then so I went to my appointment and I left. And then I went to... So imagine, I have gotten up. I have gotten dressed.
Okay, that's 15 minutes.
I have driven to Wilshire.
25, 30 minutes.
Gone to my appointment.
Okay, that's 45 an hour.
Come downstairs.
Okay.
And I'm standing at the crosswalk to cross the street to go to my car.
Yeah.
I'm standing there. I put my hands like on my hips, like on the back of my hips.
Superman pose.
And I feel something under my shirt.
No.
And I'm like, what is that? And then I start to feel it around. And I'm like, oh
no,
my God.
No.
Do you know what that is? Stuck to my back?
What?
This. A toothpick flossing thing. One of those things that's like, it was like kind of in my belt a little bit. So it must have been stuck on my back. I got dressed and then I sealed the deal.
Oh my God. But it wasn't just stuck in your pants. It was like, it was
on my flesh.
Embedded to your flesh.
On my flesh.
I wish your appointment was a dermatologist for a skin check.
I just want to check for moles really quick. Look everywhere. She's like, I have something to tell you.
This, we're going to have to biopsy.
This, we're going to have to.
Is...
So that's my disgusting, embarrassing story. So now all my friends who've made fun of me for pennies falling off my back, you can now say a flossing pit.
You know what they say about Jon? That school children will follow him down the street because pennies are always falling off his back. So they're trying to find pennies to buy some stick candy. I'm
really popular in Vegas. Here he comes.
Oh my God.
And now this just falls off and some kid's like, oh man. He's trying to teach us good dental hygiene.
For all the stick candy.
Which is a perfect segue. Dental hygiene, you need that when you're going to eat a lot of chocolate.
Tony's Chocolonely. The name alone, you'll recall it because it looks so... The packaging, which I'm sure you'll talk about.
No, I don't talk about the packaging or the name.
Stunning. But that's a name I'll say like... I don't say it out loud very often, but I'll say like, I got some of that Tony Choco.
Now, did you know that it was lonely, or did you think it was Tony Chocolonely?
I will always stop and say, is it Tony's Chocolonely? Like, why would that be the name? And that it's almost like a Mandela effect. You have to like look at the package and go like, lonely. Why is it lonely?
We will find out.
Oh, dear. Okay.
I will tell you.
It's definitely the only chocolate I've ever seen to use images of slavery in its branding.
They are pushing this agenda hard.
Bad news, though, about Tony's Chocolonely.
What?
You know how Alistair got really into lead-free chocolate?
Yeah.
Every once in a while, Al will try to like ruin something that everybody enjoys.
Yeah.
And so I was talking about, I had Tony's Chocolonely because it's like, it's slave free. Obviously, this is like a high quality chocolate. They're putting a lot of energy and they're obviously trying to make it very good quality.
Mm-hmm. They're actually using lead robots instead. Yes. That's how all the lead gets in it.
Exactly.
Slave free, extra lead.
Extra lead. Yeah, lead heavy.
So what? There's lead in it?
There's very high levels of lead.
Well, I think if for me...
Specifically, cadmium.
I'm convinced then that the lead makes it delicious.
I can't care about all of these things. I don't have the energy.
You're talking to someone that is like, half my blood is now Minute Maid zero sugar fruit punch.
You're back on it.
That's what's in here.
Oh, great. No Diet Coke then.
Well, I have one in the bag. I wasn't sure what I was in the mood for. So I picked this brand because it was like, I had seen it in stores for years. I hadn't had it until it went on sale a month ago.
Oh, wow, that was your first time.
It was. Wow. I'm a package boy. I went to school for graphic design. Yes. I love the look of it. I found it interesting because I didn't know anything about it. The first time I saw it, though, it was like in the back of the grocery store, just kind of like on the side of an end cap. And there was a lot of them. And I'm like, what is this? I have seen it at World Market, so I was just curious about it. I don't know if summer is the best time to do a chocolate. My brands are all over the place this season. Season? I don't even know if we have...
Summer season, yeah.
So I just thought I would do it. I do like that their motto is crazy about chocolate, serious about people.
I love that. Great.
Aren't we all? And I am going to throw a slight disclaimer in. This is a relatively new brand. It's 20 years old. It's only been in America for less than 5.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I think that's right. 2019, maybe. Let's say less than 8. I definitely did my research and pulled from interviews and articles as much as I could. Some of this research is from their website, which for me is kind of a no-no because they're telling us a story they want to tell us.
The PR spin.
Yeah.
Sure.
But that's just how this one's going to play out.
That's fine.
And I tend to believe them. I did go into like a chocolate Reddit this week.
Yeah.
And looked up Tony Chocolonely like subreddits. And there was definitely a lot of like, they did go through a little thing in 2019 really? And people are like, they're trash. But it's like, I don't think they are trash.
I think any mission-driven company is at least the heart is in the right place.
Yeah.
You know,
I do believe that unless I'm incredibly gullible or they have spent 20 years just lying out of their asses, I do believe that is the case here. All right. So what is Tony's Chocolonely? It's a Dutch chocolate company with their goal to make chocolate production 100% slave-free and not just for their own chocolate, but for the chocolate industry. Great. So now I just want to give it's such a big topic. Like the smallest I put a little note, let's just get a little Hershey kiss of chocolate production history.
Sure. Wouldn't be you if you didn't.
Wouldn't be me if I didn't. So like I was saying in the cold open, chocolate's one of those things that's super fun. People love it. It brings them joy. Women crave it. Al loves dark chocolate. Everyone has their favorite chocolate.
Sure.
I love white chocolate, which doesn't even have cocoa butter in it. So I'm kind of exempt.
You're a Milky Boy.
I'm going to heaven and you guys are going to have to fight it out with your lead pipes.
Uh-huh.
But like I said, it has a very dark history to it and story. It has a very unfair distribution of value and power. And cocoa is grown many places. You can find it in Asia, you can find it in South America, but 60% of it is grown in West Africa, in Ghana and the Ivory Coast. And you go to those places, and most cocoa farmers will have a small plot of land. They're earning about 78 cents a day.
Oh my gosh.
Now, of course, that's
like 1/60th of a Labubu.
It would take a cocoa farmer quite a while
to buy a Labubu.
And let's pray they get the one they want.
Let's just that is after they work so hard that is what they spend their money on.
I can't think of two things that go together worse. Chocolate and peanut butter go together perfectly.
Yeah.
Cocoa farmers and blind boxes, bad match.
Too risky.
So they're making 78 cents a day. And of course, the, living rate is different all around the world. Yeah. For a living income where they are is between $2.16 and $2.49. So it's obviously lower than ours, but they're still a third of what they need to be. So they're getting paid poverty level. And I heard an analogy in one of the interviews that I watched that I thought kind of sums it up really well. So I'm just going to take it from them. This isn't mine, but they described it as like if you had an hourglass. We all know what an hourglass looks like. We all watch Days of Our Lives, I'm assuming.
Sure.
You put that on its side. On one side, you've got that big glass bubble that has 2.5 million cocoa farmers in it that live in West Africa, and they're harvesting about 60% of the world's cocoa. On the other side, you've got the big bubble, and that's the billions and billions of people that love chocolate all around the world.
Wow.
And then you have that slender little neck right in the middle that all the sand slowly goes through. That is 8 chocolate companies that they manufacture and distribute. I mean, I won't say all because there are some small ones. Let's say 99% of the chocolate.
Wow.
So that's kind of what we're dealing with. And they're companies that are for profit. So it is in their best interest to keep chocolate as cheap as possible, to pay as little as they can to make it. And that's how a lot of the farmers end up not getting paid a living wage and living below the poverty level. And then what happens, which I didn't really realize that, I got to say, I am definitely not an expert in child labor. I don't understand why everyone wants to use kids to do their work.
My experience is they are not very reliable.
Yeah, I think of your kids like, okay, you're in charge of this farm, and it's going to be like Tasmanian devil.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not expecting, no offense to your children.
No, I think that's a fair assessment. They should have a lot in common with Taz.
So these farmers, like, they're getting paid so little, they can't afford to bring in help. And a lot of times they will have their own children, like, help them on the farm.
That's why people used to have such large families, was to help them on their farms. Yeah, exactly.
You guys are having several more, right?
Oh, yeah, but just for the farm.
Yeah, to help us out.
They're
here.
Going to go straight to
rake
the farm.
the front yard.
Well, to, set up the podcast equipment, to man the lights.
You should birth some engineers.
You really should.
All right, so then just a little bit about, like, child work versus child labor and what's legal and what's not legal. It's a very nuanced thing. There are definitely cases where children are abducted from one farm and taken to another farm and forced to work. And that is obviously considered forced labor, and that is illegal. Then there's other people, like I was just mentioning, farmers who have their own kids work on their farm. That can sometimes be considered like a chore. That's considered child work.
But if they're not getting education.
Exactly. And that's exactly right. If it gets to a point where they're like missing school and doing that, then it becomes illegal. And it's like so it's all very nuanced. There is an organization called the International Labor Organization, ILO, that does decide what is work or labor and what is illegal or legal.
Yeah.
So it is being watched. All right, so we're going to kick it back to 2001 in the United States. We're 4 years since the release of Titanic, so that whole buzz is kind of like wearing off. Everyone has seen it several times.
Maybe Celine is popping by the Rosie O'Donnell show to perform.
Of course. She'll do that song, and people are like, oh my God, I forgot how much I love that.
Yeah.
God, and I don't know if this is 2001. I don't know if it's before or after 9/11. I feel like it was like August, so...
Oh, so buckle up.
I think
things are about to change.
I could be wrong, but let's hope that it was the last gentle month. All right, so you have U.S. Senator Tom Harkin and U.S. Representative Elliot Engel, and they had watched a documentary and seen a bunch of articles about child slavery and child trafficking in the cocoa industry. So they put together something called the Harkin-Engel Protocol, which is sometimes called the Cocoa Protocol. And basically what they're saying is you got to cut this shit out. Like all the big 8 chocolate manufacturers need to make sure this comes to an end.
Yes.
We want this to be taken care of by 2005, 4 years from now.
Great.
No more child labor. All the big cocoa people are like, hell yeah, let's sign it. There's a document. They've all signed it.
Sure. I mean, imagine that meeting, everyone at the same table.
Oh my
Hershey,
God.
Nestle.
Oh my God.
All of them.
All of them. Mars. He's really eccentric, has a cane. Willy Wonka. Mr. Peanut. He doesn't even have chocolate, but he just likes to be included in things.
Toblerone, some Swiss freak.
Oh, I love it. The whole cast of the M&Ms.
that sexy green M&M.
Played by Vanessa Williams.
Oh, wow. She's the green M&M.
I think so. Right?
She's stunning.
I think she was.
Yeah, gorgeous.
All right. So, yeah, you've got Nestle, Hershey's, M&Ms, all of them. They all signed this thing, goal, eradicate child labor. Well, let's go ahead 2 years. We have this guy named Teun van de Keuken, a Dutch TV journalist. Oh, God, that's going to be we're talking about bingo cards, and I saw one of the things was when we mispronounce things. Keuken. Now I'm going to be, like, highly aware. Keuken. He's a Dutch TV journalist, and he works on, like, this consumer report show that had a very complicated name to say. I didn't even put it in my notes because I wasn't going to say it, but it also goes by KVW.
Great.
And it's kind of like a 60-minute show for food. So it's like basically investigating the world of food.
That's fun.
So they come across an article about child labor and all that. They learn about the Cocoa Protocol, which was supposed to happen 2 years ago, or, which was signed 2 years ago. And it's supposed to be taken care of 2 years from now in 2005. So, like, why don't we check in with these cocoa people and see how it's going?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to talk to them. Nobody wants to take their calls.
Wow.
Everyone's very quiet about it. And they just play dumb. So they're either dodging it or playing dumb.
Quite shady.
Yeah. So he decides he's going to take some action on his own. He considered suing them, but he's like, it's Big Cocoa versus Tiny Teun.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't have the money to sue them. They've got a bunch of money. So he comes up with this other idea. And this is written in articles and stuff. It is definitely a story they tell. It seems so odd to me, and like it's like, oh, we made the story to be like, this is a fun story to have in our history.
Yeah.
But there is a Dutch law called fencing, where if you were aware of something, this is kind of like that last Seinfeld episode where they, if you remember, like they just filmed a guy that was getting robbed but didn't do anything about it.
The Good Samaritan law.
The Good Samaritan law. So this is basically saying if you're aware something is illegal and you still allow it to happen and participate in it, then you are also breaking the law.
Interesting.
And you can go to prison for up to 4 years.
Wow.
So his plan, he films himself eating a bunch of chocolate bars that he says are made using illegal forms of labor.
Okay.
Then he calls the police and demands that he be prosecuted as a chocolate criminal. Okay. He's like, I've eaten this knowing that they're using slaves to make it. Take me to jail.
Wow. I'm going to be given the electric chair for how much slave chocolate I've eaten in my life.
Yeah, you would have gone to jail a long time ago. Me, white chocolate. I'll be at home rewatching, I think, Mad Men.
So it's just cocoa butter.
Cocoa butter.
In white chocolate. Or is it just like milk?
I don't think there is cocoa butter. I think cocoa butter is what defines chocolate.
So yours is basically like margarine with sugar in it.
I don't know what it is, but it is good. So the whole idea behind his plan was that if one person could be prosecuted as a chocolate criminal for eating corruptly made chocolate from big chocolate, then eating chocolate would become just a criminal offense.
How did Weird Al not make Chocolate Criminal from Michael Jackson's Smooth Criminal?
That is a great... Well, he had already done Eat
Tony,
It.
are you munching? Are you munching? Are you munching, Tony?
That would have worked. That would have worked. I mean, but he did do Eat It.
It's really niche. You have to know the story of this like Dutch law. You have to know about this guy who worked for this magazine style show.
He would have to know that the company was going to be created 28 years later.
Sure. I guess it would have required a lot of
It didn't exist then.
Possible.
So that would have been the problem. So the case was dismissed because it was impossible to prove with 100% certainty that the bars were actually made with child labor. So he and a couple of journalists decide to take things into their own hands and prove that you could make clean chocolate. And they just decided to do it themselves and make this chocolate company. So they make 5,000 fair trade traceable milk chocolate bars, and they wrap them in bright red packaging. I have brought a couple of bars for us today.
If you have never had this chocolate, if you saw it, it would catch your eye because it stands out from everything else on the candy shelf. The packaging is so unique.
I have brought you their most popular flavor, milk chocolate caramel sea salt.
That's the one I like.
Yeah, so as you can see, they have really fun. There's something about this bar. They're notoriously thick as hell. It's like as thick as like 3 Hershey bars.
It is so thick. Is that what makes it feel so different in the hand?
To me, the way that this bar feels is how I imagine it is in the movie Willy Wonka.
Yes,
it's
for
like
sure.
It's got this like paper. It's almost this waxy like Lux paper. It's got this girth to it. Of course, I enjoy a bar with girth.
This is a fatty for sure.
And then when you open it up, I don't know if it'll be too hard to open.
Oh, wow. And the foil on the inside. I mean, every day we mourn the foil on the inside of the Hershey bar.
I know. And then there's all this like literature on the inside. And then what they did, which I think is very interesting, and this has definitely become one of the things they're known for. Now, you open most chocolate bars, and they're divided in segments so you can break them off and share with people. So what Tony's does, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll notice that all the segments are different sizes and different shapes. And basically what that is doing is representing the inequality in the chocolate industry.
Wow.
So like every piece is like, this might be what the farmers get, the piece the farmer's getting. This is what Big Coco's getting. And then 4 of the pieces represent a shape of West Africa.
Wow.
So it's like so much.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
There's like so much thought into it. I, of course, love that there's a round one in there. So that's the one that I want to get to. We'll talk about this later if we get to our fun facts. Now they just hired a new company to like kind of like brand them even more. They have taken these 2 pieces of chocolate and made this a character because they said most people, when they get it, will break off these two pieces first. So now these two pieces are called Neil after Neil Armstrong. I don't totally understand why, but they're trying to make these two pieces a whole thing. So
wow, interesting.
Very interesting. I want to eat a bite, but I'm not going to because I have to talk.
Oh my gosh, it is so good.
But there's, God, have you had the white chocolate?
Delicious, creamy lead. I swear you can taste the lead. It's so good.
You have to try the white chocolate. Even if you're not a white, it's like one of the best white chocolates I've ever had.
I like white chocolate. It's just, this would be a lot of white chocolate to have. For some, like I can handle like a Hershey's cookies and cream bar. I could handle a fun size, but I could never eat a whole one of those.
Well, this is it. I don't think any of these are having one serving thing. You also chomp it like a monster. I kind of let it like, I treat it like, I let it like melt on my palate.
No, I bite.
You're like I
gobble it.
You're a chocolate monster. All right, so now they have these bars, they have packaging. They're like, what are we going to call this thing? Well, Teun, his name's Teun. Internationally in the United States, his name would just be Tony. So it just becomes Tony.
Wow, that's fun.
And then they were like, you know what? This is another thing that I feel like over time has been turned into this. He's like, fighting the chocolate industry is very lonely. So we are Tony's Chocolonely.
Okay, sure. It's quite it's like they had a misprint at the like the person who printed the labels. It was supposed to be Tony's Chocolonely.
Yeah.
And then they were like looking at it like, oh shit, we put lonely.
Oh no.
Okay, we have 80,000 pieces of inventory. Do we scrap it? No, we rewrite history.
Yeah.
Lonely. We can figure out a way to make that work. Lonely. It's lonely. Being a slave is lonely.
Tony, you're lonely. You haven't dated anyone. No, I don't want my personal life in this. Fighting the chocolate industry. That's lonely.
It's lonely, sure. It's a bit of a stretch.
It may very well be the true story. It's like everything just kind of fits a little too perfectly.
A little convenient, yeah.
But I don't have an issue with it.
Sure, it's a weird name.
It is a weird name, but it is kind of catchy. Sometimes when I even have it written, I'll say it like, and they called it Chocolonely.
That is fun.
Instead of macaroni.
I think too, whether it was intentional or not, when things have names that are a little off or things are a little, it kind of sticks in your brain because you try to figure it out. And for marketing, a lot of times that's done intentionally so that you spend a little bit more time like, what is that? Is that lonely? It's like, well, great. They just got your attention for an extra 8 seconds trying to figure out what the hell's going on that package.
Yeah, thinking about their chocolate bar.
That's right.
Yeah, that is very true. It is insane to me how much time and thought is put into every... We will get to that because I want to talk about that same place that told me about those two pieces becoming a character. Yeah. I read their whole thing that they're doing with Tony Chocolonely, and it's not bad. It's just crazy how much thought goes into everything.
That you might not even notice.
That you definitely don't notice.
Yeah.
All right, so they make these 5,000 chocolate bars. It's supposed to be a one-off project, but the chocolate was very good, and they quickly become one of the most popular chocolates in the Netherlands. So they decide to just start a whole company.
Wow, I for sure assumed that this was an American company.
No.
Wow.
Dutch. And they are very adamant, and I'm curious if they still are, because this interview that I got this from might have been 2022. I do feel like now maybe the tides are turning. I'm sure they will say that it's not, but they are very adamant. They want you and you to know they are not a chocolate company that makes an impact. They are an impact company that makes chocolate.
Wow. We are not a podcast that
tells jokes. Wait,
we are a jokes podcast. Yes.
Wait. We're brand. I don't know.
It makes about as much sense as theirs.
We need a marketing team.
Sure.
We are lonely. You're not. I am.
No, you're not lonely. You have your floss pick.
I got my picks falling off my back on Wilshire Boulevard. There's a song for Sheryl Crow.
Put a Weird Al on it.
I do feel like we're only a couple of steps away from Weird Al. We definitely have friends that are very good friends with Weird Al. So, and their whole mission is to exist to eradicate slavery and child labor in the chocolate industry. So how are they going to do that? So they come up with basically these 5 principles that they say, if you do these 5 things, we can accomplish this.
Okay.
And this is where I'm kind of like pulling from their website, because they talk about this all the time. I see it in articles. Everyone writes down the 5, but this is what they're saying you have to have.
Okay.
Number 1, you have to have traceable cocoa beans. They have to be 100% traceable back to the source. And this is unique because most of big chocolate, they get cocoa beans from different places.
The beans just show up, no return address.
No return address, just like beans. Hershey's, Pennsylvania bean.
Care of Mr. Hershey.
Mr. Attention. But they get all their beans and they all just kind of get collected into a giant pile. So they don't know like, oh, those beans came from this.
Isn't that so crazy? You'll get like a bag of trail mix or mixed nuts and you look at that list of it's like may come from, and it's 14 different countries. It's like this cashew has traveled more than I ever will in my life.
I think about that all the time. Same with olive oil. It's like this could be from all these different countries. And then I think about just everything. This is when I start to spiral. This is when I got you that one time I was like, every single thing that you look at in the world was a decision made by somebody.
It's too
Someone
much.
decided that this was going to be 2 inches.
And then I started thinking about the emails, approving the pictures. Okay, we're going to have a meeting.
The meeting.
The handle's actually a little too big. It needs to be a little bit smaller. I can't.
I can fit my hand through it, but my dad can't. So I think that, but is he our number 1 customer? I don't know.
Back to the drawing
board. And then I think about it as something as simple as, I mean, maybe it's not simple. Let's say a Big Mac.
Sure.
You're just eating a Big Mac.
Yeah.
Chomping on it. It's delicious. All the people that worked on that Big Mac.
Yeah.
The people that picked the lettuce, the people that picked the onions, the people that made the sauce. All the ingredients that went in the sauce came from different people. The patties probably from 90 different cows.
Sure.
The bun, the seeds came from a different plate. It's like 7 million people made this hamburger.
It's too much. I'll think of that Trader Joe's. It's like you'll get a bag of like whatever, ziti, and it'll say like it came from Italy or something that came from Thailand. It's like this product like had to be in a refrigerator and traveled halfway around the globe to give me this like thing I could have made at home probably in like 5 minutes.
I think about that even with this brand, like chocolate. Like it's such a delicate thing. They make these bars and they have to like keep them like the right temperature to travel the globe.
We were never meant to taste these things.
No.
It's quite unnatural.
No.
You were only meant to taste the wheat from like a 20-mile radius.
Exactly.
And that was it.
Yeah, and then you spend $4 on it, you're like, oh, so expensive. It's like,
exactly.
That's how I used to feel about sending mail. It's like 29 cents. Ugh. And you're like carrying this letter to my mom 1,900 miles away. I guess it's worth it.
Every once in a while we start thinking about mail, and that even is too much too. The fact that anything gets where the success rate of mail should be 1 in 30. And even if that happened, you'd be like, wow, I got one. Like,
wow, we got one in. Mom saw it.
Is insane how often mail works.
And even now it's like, oh, it's gone up, but it's still like 80 cents. It's still like less than $1 to send a card across the world.
Outrageous.
All right. So traceable beans. So big companies, they just pile all of theirs together. They're all mixed up. They don't know what's what. Tony uses something called a bean tracker. They're able to tell you like where their beans are from, what kind of environment they were grown in.
Okay.
They like keep track of a lot of different things.
Cool.
Number 2, pay the farmers a living wage. They work with different organizations. What a living wage is, like I said earlier, is kind of varies from place to place. So they have all of these things in place to figure out what a living wage means to a farmer and make sure that they get those. They do say, a lot of people are like, well, if you do that, then the problem's solved. They really, really stand by. You have to do all 5 things for this to work. You cannot just pay them a bunch of money, probably like $3 a day instead of 70 cents, but you got to do them all. The third thing, strong farmers. They believe it's very important that farmers stand together, basically like unionizing. They're a big fan of working with farmer cooperatives. If you don't know what that is, that's when a bunch of farmers come together and they work together like kind of as a unit. And it means they can work together selling cocoa beans. They can share their farming equipment. It just basically helps empower them and makes them, many is stronger than one sort of thing.
Yeah.
4, long-term partnerships. There's basically like two times a year when farmers can sell their cocoa beans. They make a commitment that they will work with you for a minimum 5 years. So like giving someone like that opportunity to know I will definitely have income coming in for 5 years. It allows them to plan ahead, to save, to know, okay, in 2 years I'll be able to buy this. I can like pay off this. Like it just gives them what a lot of us who have, neither one of us have a normal job, can like plan for the future.
Of course.
So number 5 is improve quality and productivity. So not only does Tony want them to get more for their beans, he wants them to be able to make more. Farmers tend to produce only about 30 to 40% of what they should be able to. So they're missing out on all of that income.
Mm-hmm.
So they offer like agriculture like classes, I guess, or courses. They teach farmers better ways to like produce the beans.
Wow, that's awesome.
It helps them reuse soil, so there doesn't have to be so much deforestation. Bingo. Deforestation.
Close enough.
Deforestation. Deforest. You're not going to help me? Deforestation.
Just see what happens.
I hate that I pride myself on being intelligent, and there's so many words that I can't say.
That's not related.
All right. So those are the 5 things that they consider to be the most important to get to the path that they're going.
That's great.
And then after that, they're like, oh, and then we also have these 3 things that we think are important
okay, so
too.
it's actually 8.
So this is a little listy, but raising awareness, which is basically addressing the problem, like we're doing right now.
We didn't even know. I mean, yes, I did not know that this was an issue until I see this bar and I open it up and I read the package and I'm like, all chocolate is made by slaves? Like, it's crazy.
And
yes,
then you
they
see
definitely
this,
are doing that.
You see this as one serving, so then like you eat the whole thing and then you pass out and you forget how important it is.
Me have tummy ache.
But they're basically saying if retailers and chocolate fans have the awareness, then they can actively demand from the big 8 that they only want to buy slave-free chocolate.
Sure, and it becomes a little bit embarrassing to be one of these leaders and be on the spot. It's like, well, Nestle, Hershey, Mars, are you part of the problem? And they have to kind of, make their case.
And Mr. Peanut's like, I have an idea. I'm like, sir, okay, it was funny the first time, sir. Please leave. This is chocolate. And then I just rip him open and eat his connector.
Oh my gosh.
God.
If you rip open Mr. Peanut, is he like peanuts inside, or does he have like blood?
You think Mr. Peanut's made from a bunch of little peanuts?
I don't know.
I think he's got the ultimate connector.
Oh, really?
He's got it like, yeah.
Yes, it would be like the size of a grapefruit. Wait, okay, here's a question. How tall do you think Mr. Peanut is?
Okay.
I think he's like 5'8".
I've been confused about height ever since I found out that Smurfs were 3 apples tall.
That is
so
unexpected.
I think Mr. Peanut's 4 feet tall.
Oh, okay.
Isn't he as tall as like your children?
I don't think we know. I don't think it's canon.
Hey Siri, how tall is Mr. Peanut?
According to the model sheets, he is 6 feet tall.
6
Random nugget.
He's 6. I can kiss Mr. Peanut conveniently.
Eye to eye kissing, making out with Mr. Peanut.
I'm only 1 inch taller.
Does he have a monocle or glasses?
Monocle.
Do you think he takes off his monocle before he makes out?
When we do, it's usually I catch him off guard, and so he
sure.
forgets to, but it gets real
You
steamed
sneak up behind him, he's doing the dishes, and you sneak up behind him and put your arms around his waist, which is perfectly easy to do because he's at your same height, and he turns around and then kisses you on the lips.
But he doesn't know I'm actually sneaking up behind him because I'm trying to crack him open to get his connector. But then he thinks I'm just being passionate and he loves it. I could have used Mr. Peanut instead of an hourglass. It's kind of a similar shape.
That's a really good
for
point.
my earlier
What
example.
if you crack him open and it's shaped like a peanut would be, but it's bone?
I was thinking that too, like a skeleton, just a peanut skeleton. I think
skeleton.
that's probably what it is.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bunch of little people. Then it's like that thing from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes, full of bugs, oogie boogie.
Oogie
full of
boogie,
bugs.
full of
Okay, so
bugs.
he's just like, he's either two big peanuts or peanut-shaped bones, but no blood.
No blood.
Muscle.
Peanut butter. Jelly. Jelly would be perfect because it looks, but then that's like taking it too far.
But like, he doesn't digest. He doesn't have
I don't know that he eats.
I don't know that he eats.
We don't have time for eating. We're still in the throes of our early relationship.
That's true.
All right. So the second thing, and we're almost done with this list, I promise. Lead by example. And that's basically to convince others in the chocolate industry to work with them. They have to prove that it can be done and be financially successful. So it's important for them. I mean, they're kind of in a weird position. Like they need to become a successful chocolate company.
Sure.
So the big 8 can see, oh, you can be successful and do these things.
Yes.
But then they're also like, but we're activists, so we're only really here to do this. But we're spending a bunch of money now on like marketing and stuff.
It's kind of like Dr. Bronner's being like the message was the point, and then it's like it's on soap. You know what I mean? Like they want you're buying they want you to read the package.
Right.
And they're baiting you with delicious chocolate. So I really should pay the premium for this bar to support their mission.
Well, it's still on sale at Vaughn's. Ralph's had them, I saw yesterday, for $3.49.
Oh my gosh,
But you
okay.
had to buy 4. That's another thing I get mad at. Why do I have to
Buy
buy
4,
4
get
or
1?
5 or 8 of everything?
Yeah.
Just give it to
Some
me.
places, though, that's a scam.
I think all places it is.
No, I mean, like, you're technically allowed to buy less.
Oh, really?
Yes, and they'll say, like, 4 for $5. And then you'll think you have to buy 4. But really, if you buy 2, you get it for $2.50.
Well, you have to look at the thing, because if it's like that, then it'll say like at the bottom, like 1 for $1.25. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I don't have to buy 4. But a lot of them, like Vaughn's, it's like part of the buy 4 package. So
Yeah.
there's many things that fall into that. So I could buy 1 Tony Chocolonely. I can buy 1 Frito.
Sure,
I can
yes.
buy 1 cream cheese. And then as long as I get 4 of those things, then they're all cheaper.
They used to get us with that at Albertsons.
It's the same company.
They would say, like, buy 8 bottles of wine and get like 10% off. And then we end up with like 2 of those like little like
Carriers.
lunch bag carriers of wine just to get our like 10%
You
off.
just wanted one bottle for
Guzzling
a
red
pasta
wine.
dinner.
Yeah.
And now you've got wine for days.
Too much.
All right, and then the final thing that they have on their list is to inspire
As much lead as possible.
Put a tiny little, get a bunch of old Monopoly games. Put 1 token
I love
in
that.
each piece. Or the lead pipe from Clue.
Yeah. Or a pencil from 1972.
How much did I love?
That lead pipe.
No, the game pieces of Clue
Well,
and
you know
Monopoly.
why? It's akin to a charm on a charm bracelet.
You're right. And you know why I like that? Because in a past life,
You
I was
were
a young girl that was
held
killed
as
at
prisoner.
13, held a prisoner underground by 3 dominant men.
And she had a charm bracelet?
No, but I just like those. She wanted a charm bracelet.
Oh, okay.
I honestly think if you really want to get into it, I know Sean Kim in New Zealand laughs every time I bring up my
That's funny.
past life because he doesn't think it's true. But like that is why I'm a hoarder. That's why I have the storage unit because when in that life I had,
You had nothing. Nothing but a salt baby.
I didn't even have a salt baby. All I had was the crusty salt around my lips.
Sure.
From I won't even say what that was from. But so in this life, I'm just trying to hold on to everything with dear life.
Yes, you were deeply traumatized.
Yeah. That's why I'm not great at brushing my teeth either.
Why you always fall asleep in your clothes? Because you didn't have pajamas.
Because I slept on the floor, my clothes on, it was cold.
Yeah.
It really does all make sense.
tracks.
I need to go on a podcast where we talk about my past life. All right, the last one, inspire others to act.
Did you hide pennies from your master by sticking them to your back?
I don't know if I called him my master. I wasn't the genie.
Or were you? I don't know.
A show where a woman had to call the guy from
You
Dallas.
mean I Dream of Jeannie?
Yeah, her master.
That show was very erotic.
It was.
I think that was probably pivotal in the sexual awakening. I won't say all of our listeners because they're of a certain age. Maybe Steve, MD.
Steve MD definitely knows I Dream of Jeannie. Actually, he'll be like, that was after my time.
Quite erotic. And couldn't they not show her belly button? So it was like her upper midriff because
had
like
to,
the belly button was like too, as soon as men see any kind of hole, any insinuation of a hole, button or otherwise.
Button it up. Yeah, they had to like tape her clothes above her belly button.
Yes.
That reminds me of that scene from The Piano. Do you remember The Piano? Did you ever see it?
Piano.
Anna Paquin, she won an Oscar. She was like 8 years
Oh,
old.
I mean, I saw it ages ago.
And Holly Hunter. I know, it's
Yeah.
one of those movies that was so good, but I feel like no one ever talked about it again.
Yeah.
No one's like, let's revisit The Piano.
You make it your life's mission to talk about the piano as much as possible.
I'm telling you, The Piano soundtrack, it is so
Okay.
beautiful. But there's one scene, I think it's Harvey Keitel, and Holly Hunter's wearing like stockings, and she's all, it's like, Clip Clop days. I think. Seems like it. And she has one little hole in her stocking, and he's just like, he's like so turned on that he can see like a dime of her
Of
flesh.
skin. And now
now it's
Megan
like
Thee Stallion is
wet
clapping her
ass
ass. I will turn into kind of like a grumpy old person about like wet ass.
wet ass definitely became the mark of like how can
too
we? It's
far.
that's it. We did it. We reached.
Not saying we need to go back to like dime size hole in the stockings, but it's possible we went a couple clicks too far.
Definitely a couple clicks
Did I tell this story that belly button, David's belly button lint on the podcast?
I feel like you have
That for like years, like at least 8 years straight, he had belly button lint every single day. And then one day it just stopped and it never came back. And it's not that his t-shirts were old versus new, because that is not the factor. It's that it wasn't related. It was just, I don't know. It's not that his belly button changed.
You're going to find out that was the day he died.
It might be that it's a sixth sense
You've been
situation.
living with a ghost. I can't remember if I got through the final point. It's just to
Sorry.
inspire others. No,
okay.
don't be sorry. Inspire others to act. The
Okay.
mission. They believe the mission can't be accomplished alone. All the players have to be involved.
Great.
They're trying to put more pressure on the industry through politics and things like that. They just want it to be a full-on assault.
That's great.
All right.
That's the only assault I approve of.
I could probably think of... I guess. Me too. So 2014, 2015, they start to expand internationally. Okay, I was wrong. I'm sorry. I apologize. 2015 is when they came to the U.S.
Okay, so 10.
So still
10.
only 10 years.
Yeah, that's very short.
You know, now you can find them in major retailers and grocery stores across the country. Like I said a minute ago, their number one flavor is caramel sea salt bar. There's also one in, I think... there was. I didn't check to see if they still sell it. I haven't seen it for sale in America, called the Everything Bar, and I think that has like pretzels and stuff in it.
I was gonna say, I feel like I've had one that had pretzels.
You
and it
probably
was very
have.
good. Yeah.
Now I have the bar that I bought, and I think I've eaten most of it over the last 2 weeks. Is the one I gave you, that sea salt caramel.
Yeah.
What I found very surprising about that bar is
Yes.
I'm a caramello boy. I'm like, every caramel chocolate bar I've ever had is flowing caramel.
Wet and drippy, defying all laws of physics.
It's always like cracked before I open it, so it's stuck to the wrapper.
If I don't have a string of wet caramel dangling down my chin, it ain't wet enough.
So that's something we used to do here a lot. Like if someone says something so ridiculous, we would try to ice them out and not say anything for because this is because it's a pod. I couldn't do it for that long.
I know you know what I mean though, where like you get a little tail,
but then it's like sticky, and then I've got a gnat was gonna fly by and stick to my lip.
Sure, a mosquito trying to peck through a net.
Yeah. So what I was saying, this bar, the caramel is crystals.
Sure.
It's like, so that bar has caramel crystals and flaky salt in it. So there's no liquid in it. At first I thought I had gotten a bung bar.
I've heard of wet ass, but dry ass caramel bar? 2 times in a row? I was going to have to bleep those too. So people are going to, maybe he could keep wet.
See, you just let them go as long as they can, and they'll just keep talking.
It's tough in an audio format.
It is. So definitely
people are like just like checking their connection of their headphones to their
They're like
iPod.
Starting to get back on the road. They're like, I guess the show ended weird. All right. So then 2019, they come out with what they call the open chain. And this is basically something they've created that allows any brand or private label to be able to source cocoa from them.
Oh, great.
From their open chain and put it in their supply chain.
Great.
And so for them, by doing that, the dream is that would actually become the bigger business for Tony
Interesting.
Chocolonely, not the bars that they're selling, that they're helping all of these like big chocolate players source ethically. So they have this final goal of sourcing 5% of that 60% from West Africa. And the only way they can
Why stop at 5?
well, you know, we all have to make
Dream
goals.
big.
Well, they know they're not going to get all of it. They're not taking all of Hershey's slice.
I think I like that, becoming like the distributor for the cocoa. And then if it was less about like, well, because imagine if Hershey could have a stamp that was like open source certified, and that you might never know that that's Tony Chocolonely that's in charge of that certification. But in the same way, you know, you get something that's like non-GMO or like whatever, you get these stamps, seals of approval, organic. You have to be certified by this establishment to call yourself an organic product. If it was like that, like you get the stamp, and if Hershey wants the stamp, they got to work with these guys.
Exactly.
I love that.
And you know who has signed on to do that?
Who?
I'm very proud of this.
Mr. Peanut.
Aldi, one of my episodes.
Amazing.
And Ben and Jerry's,
Wow.
another one of my episodes.
I ate 3 different flavors of Ben and Jerry's last night.
What?
I got 4 pints in the freezer.
Did you have to buy 4 to get them for $2.99?
No, it just
You just bought
moment
4?
of weakness.
Wow, we get it. You're rich.
Chocolate.
I should check the Patreon. I haven't pulled any money out.
There's something called like it's like a chocolate pudding flavored ice cream that's really good. We got Americone Dream, which is the Stephen Colbert collab with Ben and Jerry's. Very, very good. Have you had any of the cores, caramel core? It's a vanilla or caramel ice cream with blondie pieces and then like a thick ass core.
Oh, I know what it is. I did the episode on that.
Wet gooey caramel.
Wet gooey caramel.
That does not freeze somehow, penetrating the entire pint.
Can I just say, not to pat myself on the back?
Yeah.
If you haven't listened to the Ben and Jerry's episode, go listen to it.
Pause, go listen, come back.
Because I did a little game where I had you guess whether or not these flavors were real or not.
I was just thinking about this game yesterday, how good that was.
And I gotta say, I was very impressed with the flavors I came up with.
Absolutely.
We don't do stuff like that anymore. We need to
talking about.
Do we still do things like that?
We're having a lot of fun.
Now we've gotten so serious. Now look at me. I'm like undercover for a slave operation. I used to just make up wacky ice cream flavors.
Make up some flavors of chocolate.
I can't.
We talked about kissing Mr. Peanut. We're having fun.
And I said I'm just going to give you a Hershey kiss of chocolate history.
We're having fun. We're having fun.
Well, in the flavors, they now do a collab. Tony's does a collab with Ben and Jerry's also. So they have two flavors, dark milk brownie, which sounds good to me. I'm not big on dark chocolate, but the fact that it's maybe a brownie kind of texture flavor.
Sounds so good.
I love. And white chocolate strawberry cheesecake, which I would love to try.
These are ice creams?
These are chocolate bars.
Chocolate bars inspired by Ben and Jerry's ice cream?
It's a collab. Sorry, Angela.
I know, but I'm thinking like, where does the ice cream play in? Because it seems easier to put chocolate in ice cream than it is to put ice cream in chocolate.
No, they're just like flavors. These are, I think,
they're Ben and Jerry's ice cream flavors
in a chocolate bar.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds good.
Okay, so now is I don't even know if it's a Hazinga.
Okay.
If there is a Hazinga, this is it. 2021. The Times in the UK wrote an article about Tony's Chocolonely, saying that they had been taken off of the slave-free chocolate list that is put out by slavefreechocolate.org.
Seems like they should be working together.
Right. So it was a big thing, and this is like what people are like all up in arms about. They're like, they're saying that they're this, but they were taken off this list and blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
And basically, the way that I understand it, so one of the biggest chocolate players there is, one of the 8, is Barry Callebaut.
Okay.
Callebaut?
Callebaut. Beep boop.
Good Lord. How much chocolate did you eat? All right, so Tony Chocolonely started working with Barry Callebaut to use their facilities to process their chocolate.
Okay.
Barry, I'm just going to call him Barry.
Sure.
Barry's chocolate has openly admitted, yes, we do have child labor in our supply chain.
How do you admit that? That's like so shady.
No, because it's so hard.
It's so common.
They're pulling from so many farms
Sure.
that, unless...
Or they'll say the thing like, we cannot guarantee that we don't use it.
I think that they're like, we have kids. Yeah. Billy is picking your chocolate.
Oh, wow. That is crazy.
So Tony's using their facilities, but they're keeping their beans completely separated from them.
All right.
But people have an issue that they are working with a company that admittedly has that. But Tony's stance on it is, we are trying to get the big players to go slave free.
Yes.
The way we see it is, if we use their facilities and can show them that it can be done,
for sure,
then they will be more open to it. Instead of them being like, you're just a small player over there by yourself. It's easy for you to do it because this is all you have to worry about.
Sure.
If we infiltrate them and we work in their thing and they can see it can be done, we believe that.
I think that makes sense.
That's where I'm kind of like, but you go online, of course, you can't read comments. Everyone just instantly.
It'd be like if PETA shared an office building with like a cockfighting ring. And they would be saying like, yes, we're right. We are sharing a building. We split the rent with this cockfighting ring.
Yes.
But as they're getting in the elevator, as they're walking down the halls, maybe they see some of our literature on the walls. Maybe they thought we were just like animal rights freaks. And then they get to know us. And then we kind of maybe share a message. And then they kind of like see the humanity and for it behind our cause. And then maybe they're inspired to shut down their cockfighting ring and start a people fighting ring like UFC.
I would love that. I think we should turn, for every cockfighting ring that we can bring down, it has to turn into a people fighting ring of people of our choosing.
I think that's how it works. You get to choose who fights?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That'll be our side hustle.
Sheryl Crow versus Weird Al.
So that's where you're obsessed with Weird Al tonight.
I really am into him.
So that's where I don't think that's a zinga. If there's a ding, this is definitely, it's like, for me, it's like Bjork in a swan dress.
Sure.
Everyone now has one thing in the history that they
yes.
can cling on to. They're like, oh, Bjork, oh, how about that swan dress? She wore that like 8 million dresses ago.
It's also annoying when something is like overall good. And then it's like you focus on the one thing. It's like, well, actually, they're only 99% good.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well.
It's like, what are you doing? You're sitting on the couch eating chocolate. You're probably eating Hershey's, who's doing shitty things.
Yeah, yeah.
Openly. So.
I found a lot of that in the vegan community. Not if there's any vegans listening, you have my full support. But there would be vegans when I was a vegetarian. I'm now a vegetarian who occasionally eats smash burgers. But vegans would be really mad at vegetarians because they were like, that you're still like part of the problem. Like you're not even doing anything compared to what we're doing as vegans. Like you're eating honey. Are you kidding? It's like any progress in the right direction should be, I believe, celebrated.
Yeah.
And so it's like trying to take down Tony's Chocolonely. What's the alternative? That the company doesn't exist?
Right.
And then now everybody's back to using slave labor? No.
I like it.
These commenters. Commenters.
That is going to be what is off-brand for me at some point. It might have already been. I don't remember. Now, do keep in mind. So, Tony, they will still have child labor in their supply chain because they're always bringing in new farmers and they haven't all been vetted and they have to go through the process. But what they do, when they find it, they work diligently to eradicate it and to correct it. So, they're going into a really challenging situation.
It seems very nuanced too. If it's like the culture, all these systems, you have to go in and like parse it. Yeah, it seems very, very challenging. They're taking on a really Herculean task.
That is right. David versus the Bean.
Big Bean?
Big Bean. Oh my gosh, Jellycat should make a big... They did make a coffee. That's coffee. I feel like
they should make a big cocoa bean with little legs.
Cocoa bean.
A little sad cocoa bean.
All right, so up until this point, they really had not done any advertising. Everything was kind of word of mouth. And then they saw different trends on TikTok and social media, and they realized that they felt like that could be the path that made the most sense for them. So then they thought it was cheaper than doing like billboards or commercials, and then they started working with like influencers to like make videos. Then that started bringing in more sales. They eventually in 2022 got into Walmart, and then their budget for advertising kind of blew up, and then they're able to work with all these like kind of expensive creators.
Great.
Yeah. So
Harry's Bar.
Exactly.
Harry Styles.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Chocolate.
Harry's chocolate bar doesn't sound the most appetizing.
Harry Bar.
I just want a bar with more hair in it. Liquid caramel and some of Harry's hair. But then, so then you have like all these, like me watching TikTok and some influencer comes on and I have a bond with them and I'm like, oh, they're eating Tony's Chocolonely. Now I connect with that and, basic advertising. Yes. And then a lot of the younger people, which is the people that they're going after now, they do want mission-driven brands. They want the feel of a premium brand, which I do think Tony's does. Even if it is on sale for $3.50 at Ralph's, it still feels like an upscale, not like a Godiva, but like the nicer of the grocery store brands.
I feel like you could like give this as a gift. And it would be like,
what they do?
Well received.
You know what they do that's great? You can even get these at Ralph's and Vons and Kroger. They do like gift packs.
Yes, with like little variety packs
like
of
8
minis.
bars in it.
The minis are darling also.
I almost got that, but
cute.
I looked per ounce and it was more expensive, so I just went with a couple of traditional
It's
bars.
a good white elephant gift.
Yeah. 2023, Tony's brings in $162 million in revenue. The next year, it's up to $230 million, and that's partially because they got Ben & Jerry's on board and Aldi and Feastables. That's now part of the open chain as well. So they're doing, making a lot of those connections that they want to bring in more.
That's
money.
great.
Yeah.
Making money moves.
They start making more products like we were just talking about. They have big bars, small bars, teeny Tonys, little bits. They do Easter eggs. They do an advent calendar. And of course, this is another one of those things because it's Tony's Chocolonely. In their advent calendar, one door is empty to show you what it'd be like if there were no chocolate and to show you the inequality of the chocolate industry.
That's a good thing to keep in mind if you got that for a child. That you might need to have like a fun-sized bag of M&Ms in your pantry.
A spare chunk somewhere.
Day.
Yeah.
Well, Billy, that is to show that Yeah, that's rough.
You see, farmers and never mind. Here's a mini Snickers. All right, so where's the chocolate industry today, 2025? Cocoa prices have soared to unprecedented levels.
Wow.
They've hit the highest price that we've seen in 60 years.
Man, chocolate's good.
Then I'm just throwing that out. Will that make advancing this cause harder? Only time will tell. Will Tony's still be able to do this mission and keep their prices relatively reasonable? Everyone's kind of getting hit. Will Big Chocolate be like, screw it, everything's too expensive, we're going to pay farmers even less?
I mean, this should cost $15.
Yeah. I'm actually shocked it doesn't.
I mean, you get like a slice of cookies and cream pie at Burger King, and that's like $6.50.
Yeah.
Like, and that's like trash.
I agree. So, you remember that cocoa protocol we talked about from 2021?
Oh, I remember.
Everyone was going to sign off by 2025.
Yes.
Has that happened? Absolutely.
No.
Did not happen. Not happen.
Oh, no.
Big
What's the
Cocoa
holdup?
kept pushing for extensions and
Why?
pushing for because it's Big Cocoa. They don't care. They'll get a little publicity signing a thing. It is now 21 years later. It is estimated that there are still 1.56 million children working and 30,000 cases of forced labor on cocoa farms.
Wow.
So this is what Tony's is up against. This is what the fight that they're fighting.
That is wild.
In 2023, they did do something that I thought was fantastic. I think Ben and Jerry's did something similar to this that I think I talked about, but they put into place something called Tony's Mission Lock. And basically what that is, it's a legal mechanism that basically ensures that their mission will continue no matter what happens to the company. If they end up selling to Hershey's,
They have to maintain
there's a
these,
board
I
of
see.
3 people. It's called a golden share, which is basically a non-economic stake in the company. And it's 3 people who do not receive money from the company that make sure wherever the company goes, if something starts to go awry from what they believe the Tony's mission is, they are there to stop it.
I love that.
And Ben and Jerry's did that too. And then they've been going through some stuff this year, which I haven't brought up because we don't really get political. But yeah, look into that on your own. It can be a challenge, but I like that they're at least trying to say, we will continue this forever.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
We do need to have something in state for the podcast also.
Yeah. No poopy humor on any of my legacy brands. And then just a couple fun things. I was talking to you about the marketing that they have recently hired a company called Chuck Studios, who's worked with like KFC and McDonald's. And they're a culinary identity company.
Oh.
And their little tagline is where food goes to become famous. And I talked about the little 2 pieces. They say consumers often instinctively snap off the same 2 chunks of the bar. So they're spotlighting those and trying to turn them into a character. Seems like a bit of a stretch to me. But it's called Neil, named after Neil Armstrong, the first man to step on the moon. And they will always be seen as broken, not cut, thick, not flat. And they will always be shown tilted with crumbs and inclusions spilling out to evoke deliciousness and I can't say this word, dynamism. D-Y-N-A-M-I-S-M, dynamism. Everyone on bingo's like, this is the only one we got. No, you got Hazinga too. So some of the specifics of the things. So like now in all the advertising, bars should be shown, and I'll put pictures of these in my supplementals. Bars will be shown 2/3 wrapped, 1/3 unwrapped, with torn edges and a little exposed foil to highlight texture and the feel of a premium bar.
The foil is a very erotic experience.
Every bar will be displayed at 66-degree angles.
Okay.
Inclusions, if you don't know, inclusions are like what is put inside of a chocolate bar. The ingredients inside the bar should always be visible in the shot with a mix of whole pieces, crumbs, and chunks to showcase the bar's flavor and bite.
I think I got it. I need to have another piece of this.
Well, while you do that, I'm just going to share my last fun fact. If you go to the Tony's Chocolonely website, scroll down to the very bottom, past all the preaching and literature and education, past the about us, past the where to find, you will find the Tony joke generator.
Okay.
And I'd like to share some of those jokes with you.
I'd say that jokes aren't what I would firmly associate with a brand whose main ethos is ending slavery.
Eradicating slavery.
But sure, yeah, lay it on me.
You know, I think they're like, you know, they've gone through a lot. If they've gotten this far, they need a little levity.
Sure.
What does a shark say when he eats a clownfish?
What?
Tastes a little funny.
Okay, that's cute.
What's an astronaut's favorite part of a computer?
The space mouse.
The space bar. The space mouse isn't even a thing. You were right there. And what's orange and sounds like a carrot?
Carrot.
A parrot. And if you're wondering, those are the only jokes in the joke generator. Every day I'm like, maybe they'd change them daily. I refresh the page.
You refresh it and a new one pops up.
Those three over
those three.
and over and over.
That is really good.
They are definitely not investing their time or resources into the joke generator.
I guess we tend to regenerate the same three jokes also.
I say a lot of the same jokes.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's the history of Tony's Chocolonely. Marisa, now that you know about it, you were already a fan. I don't think I have to ask, but is it on brand for you?
Tony's Chocolonely is a hard-on brand for me. Huge fan of the product, huge fan of the mission. And boy, those little crunchy caramely bits are rocking my world.
Question.
Yes.
You get lifetime supply of free Tony's Chocolonely
Wow.
if you put your children into a cocoa farm as child labor.
Wow. Have you seen those videos, by the way, of people who work in cocoa farms tasting chocolate for the first time?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, talk about...
They don't even know what they're making.
They don't even know what they're making. They think it's like going to get turned into cat litter or something.
Because what they make is nothing like the final product. And then they taste it and they're like, and then people were like, I've seen the thing where like, they couldn't even afford the thing that gets
they're
made.
making. How did anybody figure out that if you do all that shit to a cocoa bean, it'll turn into chocolate?
This is why over and over I say I am so thankful
that we're not the smartest people on earth?
That everyone doesn't have my brain.
Yeah.
Because we would not have many things.
No, we would have next to nothing.
Almost nothing.
Okay. It's hard on for me. Yes.
It's a hard on for me too. I mean, cool company, trying to do good things, amazing white chocolate, thick.
You've never seen a thicker bar.
I've never seen a thicker bar. And some people don't, of course, people complain. They're like, it's really hard to share with these weird pieces. I like them. I'm like, you know what? I'm in the mood for a little one. I'm in the mood for a bigger one.
Sure.
I love to get to the big Tonys. I love to get to the circle.
That's fun.
I love it all.
Treat yourself. Find a Tony's Chocolonely at your local shop today.
Absolutely.
Great.
Well, there you go.
All right.
All right, and before we go, of course, I want to give out a shout out to all of our Freaks of the Week. These are all the people that guessed our Insta Egg correctly. This was for the Pop Mart and Labubu Insta Egg. There was a bonus egg, so your name was in there twice. And the following people are this week's Freaks of the Week. Krista Weeb, Katie, Caesar, Jason E., and Kara Bojko. Bojko. And I hope that's Weeb, Krista, or Weeby, Wiebe. Anyway, you're all Freaks of the Week. Thank you so much for playing the Insta Egg. If you're not aware, every Wednesday on our Instagram story, I post a little puzzle. If you guess it correctly, you'll be able to figure out what our brand is going to be that week, and your name will be added to our Wheel of Freaks, and you'll get a little freak badge. And every week I spin that wheel 5 times and pick 5 Freaks of the Week. So be sure to check that out. Also check out our main feed on Instagram, and you'll get a supplemental package every episode that shows you pictures and our thoughts on things that we talk about in that episode. It's a lot of fun. And you'll find out whether we think the founders are hot or not, usually, in those supplemental materials. So be sure to check those out.
While we're giving shout outs, I'd like to give a shout out to some lovely listeners who've left us 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. First up, we have Z Jones 24 says, okay, always looking forward to Wednesdays for the Insta Egg, which then usually leads into a bit of catty conversation with Jon. From Clippity Clops to Current, I love them all. Okay. Wow, that's so nice. A fan of the Insta Egg. We have LM1234 says, very endearing. Fell in love with Jon and Marisa through Doughboys. Their friendship, banter, and facts bring me so much joy. Thanks for sharing yourselves with us. Wow, we really are sharing ourselves.
I'm sharing a lot.
With the people. Sometimes too much.
You all now know I have a sticky back. Why am I so sticky?
I don't know.
How did it survive the whole trip? How did it survive the car?
I cannot make sense of it. It is confounding. Check out our Instagram at On Brand the Pod, TikTok at On Brand the Podcast, YouTube On Brand the Podcast. If you go to our Instagram, you can play John's Insta Egg. You can chat with us there. Join our Patreon if you want another episode of Off Brand, a little bit more time with me and John every week. And with that, we'll be back next week with an all new episode.
And remember, we may go off topic, but we'll always be on brand.
Bye.
Bye.